500, please.
The answer is denomination founded by a group of Oxford University students led by John Wesley. Tie.
What is Methodism?
Methodism is good for 500, and you're on the plus side. Select.
Common bonds for 300, please.
Adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters, DN agents, the Fantastic Four. What are comic book characters or groups? Tie, go again.
Hey everyone, good morning. Good morning. This is Don Chen, your host for another exciting episode of Coffee and Comics. And I'm here from kind of a nice, sunny Northern California day. It's about 9 a.m. here on the West Coast. And I'm back in my old digs. I started my show in a bedroom, and it's upstairs, so I get a really good connection. And when I moved the studio downstairs, it was kind of a little bit erratic. So I wanted to give you guys the best streaming quality that I could. It's not quite as, I guess, festive as my studio downstairs, but I think it'll be a lot more stable, and that's important. So first of all, I'd like to just say good morning to the chat. Let's see who we have here. Ray Thulu, my trusty moderator, is here. Thank you. Ginge, good to see you, my friend, from Patchwork Comics. You guys should definitely check out Patchwork. They've got some digital releases that are available for download, and they're very reasonable. And Ray, he says you can go to beyondtimecomics.com, which is where John Hervey has his website. And I did think I put some links to how you could contact John, like social media and so forth, in the description of this show. So please like and subscribe if you haven't already to this channel, so we can keep the content going and get more viewers. And anytime that I do a stream, you'll be notified, and you can check us out. So Jen says hey to Ray. Ray says hey. So who else we have in here? We've got John. John says, what's up, peeps? He's in Houston, Texas, I believe, area. And we're going to talk to him today about what he's been up to in comics. He's got a lot of cool multimedia things that he works on besides comics. And I'm very intrigued by that, because he not only does comics, but he's got some things that he's dabbled in with animation. And he's also done some really cool live action stuff that's very impressive. And so I grew up with a film background. I was a film major, and then I changed it to a minor. So he's got some very impressive, cool stuff. Wolverine is here. He says, gotta show up for my man, John Hervey. Thanks for coming here today, Wolverine. And let's see, SDA is here. Hi, SDA. And Marvin is here. Hey, Marvin. I was gonna give you a shout out. While Marvin is on the screen here, I wanted to say thank you to him. He sent me, I just got this in the mail this last week. This is his character. I think it's Mystic. Is that correct, Marvin? This is kind of like a little cool statue figurine for his comic book called The Edge. Marvin was on our show last week with Heroinberg, and he wrote me on Twitter and said, hey, Don, let me send you something. So he did, and I wanted to show you what he sent me. I'll try to put a little plug for you on here, Marvin, so people can figure out where to get your stuff while you're here. Let's see. Yeah, you can go to Facebook. It's kind of scrolling there along the bottom. He's got a Facebook page that he updates a lot with his comics and what he's working on. And so Marvin was really cool. He sent me a few of these little cool chibi stickers of his characters from The Edge. Some cool postcards. I might have to give these away, Marvin, just to, spread the love for your comic book. But Marvin is working with an artist that I worked with back in the 90s. I think he goes by the name Mark. He went by Mark V back in the day, but this is a really nice print that he sent me. Kind of a double spread wide print. And then he also sent me a copy of his comic book, the #1 issue of The Edge, which I believe this is distributed in your local comic book store. So you can pick this up and he's got many issues in the works. Very professional. You know, if you like, you know, image comics and action and so forth, it kind of has that flair to it. So anyways, Marvin, thank you for being such a good guest to me and sending me some swag. I really appreciate it. I hope that you get some followers and sales from appearing on the show, and we'll love to have you back when you're doing another project. So yeah, thanks, Marvin. Thanks again. SDA, good to see you. Got my coffee cup. For those of you that are wanting to get an X-FARCE coffee, there's my phone. Can you believe it? I didn't set it on silent. That's silly me. Okay, sorry guys. This is the X-FARCE coffee mugs that we just got like 36 of them in last week. So if you want to get this, you can go to our store, which is at xfarce.com. It's actually the Indiegogo page. We wrapped up our campaign last week. We're fully funded. We're getting the book ready to go to press. So these guys are on sale. I think I have them on sale for $15 plus shipping. They're normally $19, but it's got the Bill Mouse X-FARCE gang on there, full color, and it'll keep your mug either, you know, frosty or hot. So good stuff. Hey, Arya is here. Arya has been on my show before, and he's got a campaign that's in pre-launch called The Adventures of Tailless. So go to Indiegogo and definitely check out Arya's project. It looks really cool. It's kind of like a superhero funny animal vibe. And yeah, that is my magic cup. It's it perks me up and gives me energy. So I'm gonna go ahead and invite our esteemed guest in here today. I've been on a show with John before. I really like his vibe. He's got a lot of background in comics that I want to learn about because his projects are very, very classy. He's got some cool spiritual overtones to his comic book, and just the quality of his books are above what you normally see, I think, from most publishers these days. So if you go to his website, which I'm going to go ahead and plug that again, which let's see here. Yeah, Ray says, if you go to his website, you can see what he's up to. He's got a lot of different books that he's worked on over the years, and I believe you can buy them on his website. So we'll talk to him about that. Let me take off Marvin's little ticker there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring John in. There he is. Hey, John.
Hey, Don. Good to be on, man.
Good morning. Good to see you. How are you?
Doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing great. Great. Good to see you here. And so tell us, John, tell us about yourself. You know, you seem like when you were on the stream before, did you work like at Milestone back in the day, or did you? It sounds like you kind of mentioned that.
So I worked for one of the founders of Milestone in the mid '90s. I worked for Michael Davis, and he put a deal together with Motown. So basically, there was a company called Motown Machine Works, and they were kind of an animation / comic book house, but it was mostly just comics. We didn't do much in terms of animation there, but it was great. I mean, Michael came from New York, so he brought a bunch of these amazing, they were kids, I mean, amazing kids from New York with him. They plopped him in the middle of mid-Wilshire, Los Angeles. None of these kids had, cars or anything. They didn't need a car in New York, so they're like, basically they all live within a mile. Some of them just like a block away from the office, in Motown. And they just had this culture shock, not being able to just readily get around wherever they wanted to get around to. And a buddy of mine who's actually a video game producer now, his name is Gene Bong. He and I knew each other from grade school, and we were at college together. And he's like, "Hey, I got this job as an editor over at this comic book company." And he likes comics, but he was really, I mean, video games is really his medium. He's like, "I think I can get you on board here." And I love comic books. I mean, I have loved comic books since I was a kid. If it weren't for comics, I probably wouldn't be able to read today. He got me an interview with Michael Davis, and I was on board literally as a gopher. I mean, get the coffee, the gopher, but I was just so happy to be there. And I was always pitching Mike on ideas. And, Mike was just like, John, I've already got a ton of ideas myself. I'm not going to get them all published. I've got artists and writers and everybody lined up. But, Mike was good to me. Over time, I got to edit some books. And then one of the books, one of the writers kind of ghosted. And you know how things work, Don. It's like you put your solicitations in Diamond, and the clock is ticking at that point. So he already had that machine rolling, and he's like, listen, I need to get the book to the printer. Because the interesting thing was there's a good amount of artwork done. There was a good amount of kind of like thumbnails, but he's like, the script never came together. So he tasked me. Basically told me it was a Thursday. He said, hey, John, listen, you're going to come back on Tuesday with the finished script. And, and you're going to also give me an outline of what the rest of the miniseries is going to look like. And he's like, and, no pressure, but, if this sucks, you don't have to worry about working in this industry ever again. But don't worry, no pressure. Just give me something really good. Cause I've already got this, in Diamond's solicitations. But I didn't tell him until years later that I'd already been working with his artist, Chuck Drost, for a long time. So I loved his property. It was called Trouble Man. It was kind of a mix between Men in Black and Mobius, and, with a little bit of kind of the, a touch of the, kind of Marvin Gaye Trouble Man in there. And it was a story that I was already compelled by. So I'd already done a lot of writing in that regard, and I had already helped Chuck in world building, so this was easy. I already had a bunch of material, so I just circled up with Chuck, and we got the story right where we wanted it, delivered it to my boss, Michael Davis, and, long story short, that was the first time I was published. And Motown Animation, they were publishing through Image at the time. So you got to understand, this is the mid-'90s, so we're behind the boom. Motown is in comics because of the boom, saying like, hey, they're looking at Spawn, they're looking at all these big books, they're looking at Pitt, and they're saying like, hey, there are $1 million books out there, and this is music, before the whole, industry was totally changed by Napster and everything like that. So music was a highly profitable business for them, and they said, oh, we can make comics a highly profitable business for us. Well, the bubble burst, the books came out. Mel, Hex Allen, Mel, we worked together at Motown Animation. What's up, Mel? Hex Allen. And long story short, Motown, the numbers were getting and weren't millions. They were in the tens and 20s of thousands. And they said, this isn't what we signed up for. So ultimately they got out of the comic book game. But that was a great introduction for me as somebody who loves comics, to have an opportunity to work with other professionals, to learn a lot all the way around the board, whether it was myself as a writer and as an editor, but learning more of the process of how books are made, being there in the, with the editing and all the post. So it was a great learning experience.
Awesome, bro. Well, that's good to hear. So you've been in this business since basically the 90s then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
yes, sir.
So then you said you were born in California and then you moved to the Midwest. So how long? So you worked for Motown, and then how did you get into like self-publishing, and when did that start for you?
I got into self-publishing because nobody was going to publish my stuff.
I know the feeling.
So it's like, I pitched all the different companies, whether it was different ideas or whether it was, doing freelance work on their existing properties, and, kind of a close but no cigar kind of a thing with different opportunities. And I realized, and this is before we had this amazing machine that we have now with Indiegogo and all that kind of stuff. I was like, well, the only way my books are going to get made is if I make them. And the only way they're going to get distributed is if I distribute them. So the first time I self-published was in the mid 2000s. And that's actually so Black Tiger, they're the first graphic novel that people picked up. You know, the reason why this thing is so voluminous, it's 172 pages, is that is also, sorry about that, that is also a collection. You know, these were the first stories that I told about Black Tiger, and you know, broken into 6 issues that were published, self-published through Beyond Time. And, you know, we printed those books. We went the convention circuit, and a lot of it was West Coast convention circuit. So at the time, WonderCon was up north, so we go to WonderCon. We would go to, you know, San Diego. We would go to Frank & Sons. We go to a lot of the kind of the West Coast stops to, you know, kind of, you know, get our books out there and get them known. And then of course we were selling through comic book shops via Diamond. So that was kind of the early 2000s for us. And, you know, it's one of those things where the industry was shifting at that time too. I mean, just the difference between what the convention circuit looked like when we began and kind of when we kind of started ramping down was, I mean, comic book shows were comic book shows at that time. I mean, you went to shows for comic books. You know, kind of by the time you start hitting the mid 2000s and deeper into the 2000s, the shows were not, it's not, you know, it's not a bad thing, but necessarily, but it was more of a media show. So you had a lot more games there. You had a lot more, you know, TV and movies. So then all of a sudden that disposable income that people were coming to buy comics for, they're now coming to buy toys, you know? So I remember one year Marvel had this just crazy Galactus toy, this huge Galactus. And I remember preview night at San Diego. This toy must have been like $900. And we're talking, this isn't like 2000 something, you know what I mean? So I mean, like this so like, and I can't tell you how many people on preview night swung by our table afterwards and they were just like, yeah, I kind of already shot my wad. Like, I'm like, the books are like $2, man. You just dropped $900 on a Galactus toy, you know. But so the shows changed, and you know the shows were always about marketing. But you could at least, you know, cover yourself being there at the show. You could cover, and then it kind of got at a place where it got more and more difficult to do that. So you started going to you kept going to the shows, and you realized, you know, I'm more of just like enjoying the company because you kind of, you know, there was kind of like a cluster of us that were all kind of in the same areas, and we would see each other all the time. And then folks kind of started falling off as I think the economics of the industry kind of changed. But, you know, good times. I've always loved comics, and I think, and I continue to make them, Don. So, I mean, even when I didn't have a clear path to how we were going to distribute them, you know, that's at the time when I was making this book, Magna, and another book called The Posse, and another book called The Orphans. I knew at some point we were going to find a mechanism for distribution, but I just didn't have that mechanism at that time, and I didn't have enough of a name, and it didn't work for me to go through Diamond anymore. It was just it was so expensive. It was just like chopping myself up into pieces, you know, just by the time, and then the percentage that I got on the books. And on top of that, I had no demographic information about anybody, even the shops. I get it. I don't know who the end buyer was, but I didn't know what shops were having success with the book or not, unless the shop, you know, reached out to me. So it was just, it was a big challenge at that time, you know, to try other than maybe doing some small shows, you know, to try and get the books out.
So you've been, you know, I took a break like after the late 90s, and then I got back into it in like 2007 with the Parody Press book, and I could kind of see the writing on the wall that it was not nearly as healthy as it was in the 90s, and I couldn't really make it a viable source of income for me at the time. But is this your full-time passion, or do you have like you said you have a day job, and I don't want to, you know, if you want, you can talk about that if you want, but you've got quite a bit of, you know, catalog of books that you've done. And it seems like, you know, you're continuing to do at least, you know, a couple. What's your goal? Like 2 or 3 books a year, or do you have a kind of a set?
Yeah, so my objective would to be able to put a book or two out a year. I'm hoping to accelerate that pace. If we can get a little bit more, a little bit traction with some of these campaigns, because ultimately, all these campaigns, other than paying for the shipping and paying for, the printing, they're paying for the next volumes. So, and I'm trying. And it's difficult, Don, but I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve so that I have content to release, because it's like myself, I've got a day job. A lot of the artists and people that I work with, they've either A, got day jobs, or B, they've got other gigs that they're working, so they're working kind of around their respective schedules to get my property done. So, I don't have the pace to be able to put out a book, definitely not on a monthly basis, that's for sure. Probably not on a quarterly basis. So that, and that's the challenge, So it's but building the runway so that people can get more content. So that's what I've done with like MAGNA, providing the first graphic novel, but the second graphic novel is pretty much done. So the art is done. There's just some editorial things that need to be done to it. So the next graphic novel will soon be able to follow this one. But actually, in between the next volume of Black Tiger, all the pencils are done, and about 60% of the inks and colors are done. So my hope is to get Black Tiger out, the next volume of Black Tiger out next, and then go back to MAGNA. And then I'll probably start releasing some of the other content that you see there on the website.
Okay. Why don't we take a look at the MAGNA page? I have it pulled up. I've been kind of scrolling through it, but I mean, I was just impressed the first time we ever appeared on a show together. We were both pitching. I was pitching X-FARCE and you were pitching MAGNA. And I didn't really know too much about the book, but when you came up and they started scrolling through the artwork, I was just going, this is really, really good quality comic book artwork, I mean, and story. And, I honestly think you deserve a lot of support, because this is, to me, above average, way above average what I've been seeing out there. So should we play the trailer, John? And maybe we can show people what it's about. And, I'll go ahead and load it up here.
Yeah, that would be great. That's a great place to start.
All right. So here we go.
Welcome to Tree City, Idaho. The year of 1942. Spring is in the air, times of tense worldwide While high school senior Carly Scott finds her potential life fulfilling, her parents are eager to keep their lives, and most importantly, their extraordinary daughter under their radar as long as they can. But time is not on their side. They prepare to flee to protect Carly. But something within her compels her to stay and take a stand. It's time to learn truths that have been kept from her, be it about love or fear or something else. It's time to answer the calling upon her life, whatever that may be. So her journey begins, and things would never be the same. But Kari's story finds its roots millennia prior. The men of renown, known as the sons of God, and the daughters of men in first and second heavens, joined raised arms one last time, combining all the power that they had at command. And the heaven, above the world, the last stand of these mighty men was also the last appearance of the agents of destruction. Until their reemergence in 1942. Kari must learn the truth about himself, determine the end game of these supernatural agents of destruction, and how to stop them before all is lost.
Yes, sir.
Very nice.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Sorry about the sound, guys. I tried to turn down the volume a little bit. So let's go ahead and look at your campaign page here. Now you're in demand, so you're ended.
That's right.
What's your most likely your anticipated ship date on this month?
So shipping should start this month. We're using Mix'em for the printing. So we already got the proofs. The proofs came out beautifully. So we've ordered the books, and we should be receiving them next week. And some of the swag, like the beanies, I've already received. So other than the books, the only thing that I still really need to receive there's some commissions.
Okay.
But
Wow.
otherwise, we'll be good to go. We'll be ready to get these into people's hands.
These covers are just really, really nice. So, obviously there's kind of a werewolf thing going on with a lot of creators right now. But
Yeah, there is.
this definitely is an intimidating wolf. Is he a bad guy or a good wolf?
So this wolf is, and I can tell you this without spoiling it, is one of the spawn of Fenrir. So this werebeast is, even though the moon is there, is a werebeast all the time. This is his form. And he's a pawn, but he's a loose cannon though. You can't really trust a wolf. You send a wolf on a task. What do you think is going to happen? You think the wolf is going to follow the rules?
No.
That carnal nature kicks in. They're going to do what they're going to do.
Is this the interior artist as well, or is this just your special cover artist on this?
So the cover artist, she did 2 of the 3 covers. She did the first 2 covers, and her brother actually, Eduardo, did the 3rd. So I already was in contact with Elizabeth. I had no idea that her brother was an amazing artist as well, because after she did the first 2, she's like, I'm not going to have time to do the 3rd. I'll have my brother work on it. I'm like, oh, here we go. You're going to have me work with your brother, who's probably not a great artist, but proved me wrong. Did an amazing job. So the thing that I like about the covers is, they kind of tell you what, the heart of the different beats of the book are. Even if it's not literally that, that's not literally what happens, but it kind of shows you this, oh, behold the pantheon. This one does, the first one, shows you that, that kind of call to action, and, that encounter with the werebeast. And the second one, it really shows her kind of leveling up, her showing her strength. And her saving a girl in the process of doing so.
Wow. So let me ask you. So these artists that you have, they're not from the States. Are they from Italy?
So all over the place. So I mean these. So yes. So these artists, the cover artists, are from Italy.
Okay.
So Elizabeth Torque and her brother Eduardo are from Italy.
Okay. So the Elizabeth is the one that did this one and probably the 3rd cover. She did that. She did the werewolf and the tank, and then her brother Eduardo did the behold the pantheon. Okay, beautiful. Wow. So how many pages is your Magna book? It's 72 pages. Wow, that's a good deal. So guys. Yeah. So I mean, so you get a good amount of book. It's 72 pages. It came out beautifully. I'm really happy with how the interiors look. The interior artist, who's Marcio Abreu, he did a fantastic job. Yeah. Is this what I'm showing you right now? This is yes, sir. Yeah. Wow. So those are Marcio's pencils. He did a fantastic job. Because there's a lot of world building here. So trying to reflect, various mythos, but not just have a uniform look. So really using references from, cultural and mythological references to really try and give a flavor and feel for the different pantheons, and then using some references. There's a little bit of a period piece. This happens in 1942. So giving references in that regard. Even from how the barn looked and things of that nature. So there's a good amount of research that was done from a writing perspective, but also from an artistic perspective.
in putting this property together. So I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, do you, you're obviously the writer and creator. Do you do anything else creatively in the book? Obviously the editor as well.
So, and my wife is also, she's actually my editor.
I can relate. My wife is my editor as well.
Yeah. So she's the one that, she's the one that helps kind of, bring things back down to earth. And she's excellent, so, I mean, she's an educator by trade. So she's, very meticulous, and she's the one that really kind of helps with, because sometimes there's certain things like homonyms are my mortal enemy, and sometimes punctuation doesn't agree with me. So,
yeah,
so I mean, she's the one that really, kind of helps to give that professional feel to the book and the writing.
Awesome. So John, who does your lettering? Do you have somebody here in the States, or?
So actually, my letterer is actually in Spain.
In Spain. Wow. So
yeah.
International project, man. International
project. That's the beauty of the internet. Honestly, is just reaching out to different folks and seeing, because it's a matter of availability and it's a matter of ability. So you can find people that you like, but then sometimes they're just not available. And then developed a relationship with some of these folks. So when you develop a relationship, then they'll kind of find ways to make availability for you, but it may not be the fastest.
Right. We had a question in the chat about your swag. So
yes.
I see. I could buy a beanie right now if I wanted to. So let me go. I probably will, but let me go back to
we have 10 beanies left. So I've already received the beanies. So we have 10 more beanies available. But I'm very happy with the beanies. Shay the Red and Alex, they're the ones, they're kind of like the masters of swag.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that really help with that. So you can go into the Indiegogo campaign and you can order just the beanie, or you can get a beanie and a book. Beanie and a book combination is probably, I think a really good combination, and then the beanie doesn't add much to shipping.
Right. Very sweet, man. So let me see here. Do you want to highlight any other particular tier on this, and then we can move on to Black Tiger?
Yeah, so probably the featured tier, which is the Marcio Abreu commission. You get a copy of the book, plus you get the funny thing is, it was supposed to be a bust up commission, but he's been doing full body commissions for the people that got the tier.
I think I heard that. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So he's been doing full body, commissions of any character. So it doesn't have to be a Magna character. I think somebody asked for like the Shadow, and somebody asked for, I think, Red Sonja, and because I guess they saw this one. So he'll do a commission of anything. And some I know someone that has their own character, so they just provided references. So he's going to do somebody's proprietary character, and they can see how their character looks when he's rendering it. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. And does he ship it from Italy to the consumer?
So this is what we're going to do. So he's actually in Brazil.
Oh,
so he's going to ship. We're waiting for him to complete all the commissions. Then he's going to ship them all to me. It's actually cheaper that way. And then I'll get I'll have all the commissions, and then I will get them out to everybody.
And you only have 2 of these left. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Wow.
That's correct. Only 2 of those left.
Yeah, that's a nice. Is that Red Sonja on the right?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I think that inspired one of the people. They said, I want a Red Sonja too.
How did you find? I mean, just curious if you can share. How did you find this team? I mean, did you go to like some art boards and see them, or did they submit to you, or?
Went to different art boards. So I met Marcio a number of years back. He's a part of Ed Bennis's studio.
Okay.
So he was, when I met him, he was kind of like one of the newer kids in his studio, but I really liked his style. And that's how I met him. I met the cover artist. I met her. I pinged her via DeviantArt.
Okay.
And Marco, I met him, who's the letterer. I met him because he was lettering another friend of mine. His name is Jason Medling. He also worked at Motown Animation. He was doing his own book, and I met Marco through him. So just through just various channels, you know?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the old days when we were in the 90s, we didn't have like high-speed internet. So everybody would have to send in copies of their work, or you get lucky at a con and maybe get a job that way. But now with the internet, it's so much easier to find talent, you know, and get files and all that good stuff.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you probably were back in the day when we had to save like pages to like SideQuest discs and stuff.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, my artist for Black Tiger, Rod, he and I, we've been working together for over 16 years now. I met him on this site that no longer exists called Digital Webbing. And man, the stuff we used to go through just for him to be able to get me the images, like high res images. Oh my goodness. It was such a big deal, you know, because you can't really send that stuff via dial-up, you know.
No, that's true.
You know, and there was no Dropbox. There was nothing like that, you know. Back then. So you want to talk about, it's just a different world now.
We were spoiled back in the day, or now we are.
Now we're super spoiled. We're like, work with somebody, and where it doesn't matter where they are in the world. You can work with somebody anywhere in the world, and it doesn't matter their time zone. Nothing matters.
Yeah. I was gonna say, John, when I was kind of looking through the materials you sent, I went to your YouTube channel, and John has a YouTube channel which you can also subscribe to. A lot of cool content, and the things that I think I was really impressed with that sets you apart, which you have like a mixture of some really good looking live action things based on your creations, as well as, you know, I was watching a little MAGNA animated, you know, like a 10-minute adventure that you put out last year. And I was, you know, you've got artwork, but you've got the character speaking, and it's, you know, it's kind of like a cartoon, but that's something that I haven't seen a lot of creators do. I think you have a name for it, like a.
So I called it an animatic.
Right.
It's really, because it's not full blown animation. It's, you know, there's only maybe a couple cells a second.
Did you do that, or did you have somebody else?
So myself, Rod, who's the artist on for Black Tiger, and a couple other artists, a friend of mine, Dave Green. You know, I met Dave Green at the comic book shop back in Pasadena, California back in the day, and he's an amazing artist, and you know, we've just stayed good friends. So just, it's one of those things where it's like, we said, wouldn't it be cool if, and we're like, well, nobody else is going to do it if we're going to. So, you know, I crafted the script together, and, you know, we spent over a year, you know, to get, you know, all the elements, to get all of the, because it was a process. It was really, you know, a full animatic process. So we, and that's how I really got better at using some of these Adobe products, like you know, Premiere Pro and you know, but you really had to first put like almost like an animatic together, and then we made a scratch track. So we had you know, different voice actors that came in that played the different parts, and then it was kind of funky because I ended up syncing. I had to kind of sync them to each other. So, you know, I've got all of the pieces of the animatic. So I'm syncing the animatic and the voices together, and then we did a little bit of Foley, so we get some sounds in there, and some friends provided some music, and then we ended up with a 10-minute animatic. So
Okay.
it was a production process, but it was a fun one. You know, I think ultimately, you know, I won't be surprised. I think ultimately, you know, as even things with CG and everything continues to grow, I bet you that's an area that people start to go into. People will be able to, if they build enough of a fan base behind themselves, they can start putting together, you know, whether it's animatics or it's, you know, putting a little action like old school 1960s Marvel style, putting a little animation to your comic, you know, putting some voiceover on it. You know, I can definitely see that being something that folks start to do. Yeah.
Well, I want to encourage people to go check it out. If you go to your Indiegogo page for Magna and you scroll through his 4 images, you can pull up the link to the one of his animated adventures. So I definitely thought that was a cool marketing thing. It seems like it's very time consuming, but you've got that, and then the live action trailer. You know, I watched the one for Black Tiger, and I like to play it today. Let's go back to Black Tiger, and you can talk about. Let me go ahead and bring it up here.
All right, cool.
Dan, are you a martial artist yourself? Because you seem like you kind of have a fascination with kind of these.
So I've practiced different forms of martial arts throughout time, and actually, the Fujai Pao, which was what my family and I were practicing the last few years. It actually is one of the forms that is kind of where Black Tiger Kung Fu comes from, because Black Tiger is a style. It is a style of Kung Fu, you know, that was used, and I'm always intrigued by that, because you know, you have people, whether they're in rural areas and they, you know, they're farmers and they needed to design. They had to come up with ways to protect themselves, you know. So you know, these people aren't military, you know, but they have developed, you know, martial arts so they can protect themselves from bandits and from things of that nature. And basically, you have a style that, I mean, for those of you that love Kung Fu movies like I do, you know, you may have heard of like Wong Fei Hong, who's kind of, you know, famous, you know, in China, and he was called, I think he was called like, I forgot, called like the Tiger of but his style, he had a tiger style as well. So I'm taking some historical elements, and I got to actually talk with a few martial arts grandmasters and Kung Fu, and bringing some of those historical elements into the story. We'll see more of that later. So, you know, it's still a fictitious, you know, realm, but using a little bit of real history and martial arts history and a little bit of cultural perspective to bring a story to, you know, to the fore.
Okay. So I'm looking at the artwork for your sign up. Is this the same artist as Magna, or do you have a different artist on this?
So Black Tiger, Rod Pereira, who's an artist I've been working for over 16 years. My first independent book was with him, and that was the original Black Tiger. So we've been working together on Black Tiger for a very long time. And just to see how, I mean, his art has always been amazing, but he's absolutely been taking it to the next level. Yeah. So, you know, his love for the property, his amazing art skills, I'm just excited, you know, to get this book into people's hands. So basically with this will be the next book we launch. The funny thing is, man, there's so many things that you learn. I had put up kind of my Indiegogo page. I'm learning it was almost 6 months ago now. So I'm going to pull all the names off this mailing list, and retain them, and I have to create a new Indiegogo campaign, or this one is going to evaporate and disappear, and I'll lose everyone on the mailing list. So, but I'm going to pull everyone's name, and I'll recreate another one, so it'll be seamless. So anybody that did sign up, I will have your information. But this, it's funny, you know, I get it. I guess it's a bandwidth issue. They don't want to have stuff just hanging out there forever. I'll refresh that.
Okay. So I wanted to play your trailer.
You'll have to go to the YouTube. Yeah. I don't have the live action trailer connected to mailing list. I don't think
I have it here. I just need to. Okay, hang on. Let me get it queued up, and I won't try to do it too loud so we don't get an echo. But let me get it queued up and share. Got to stop the Black Tiger screen, and then I'll go to share the YouTube video. I got to take down the Rod Looper baby. So,
Rod Looper, that's my guy. He's amazing.
All right, so let's check this out, guys. This is John's cool trailer, and I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. So when I saw your trailer and you had Robin Shao in there, I went, "This is like not your like an amateur production." If you guys are big old '90s Mortal Kombat fans, Robin Shao was he played Liu Kang in the original Mortal Kombat, and then they're coming out with the new one I think in April.
That's right.
Which is going to be awesome. So, anyways, let me go ahead and pull this up. And so you're the producer on this trailer, is that correct?
And writer.
Writer. Okay, guys.
And writer for the
Enjoy it. Let me make sure I got our screens here. I'm just going to play it in its beauty here in full screen here. So
Sweet.
Here we go, guys. Enjoy. This is awesome.
My father was the Black Tiger. Now I'm the Black Tiger. Not quite what I had in mind for my legacy.
Nice work. There's a new player shaking up the underworld. I don't know. Don't look alike.
Timothy, we need to have a little chat.
Schedule an appointment with my secretary.
It's hard enough being Black Tiger, trying to figure out how to do all this without compromising my personal identity.
We'll consider me honored to be the only one who knows your secret.
To kill the Black Tiger. Miss Secretary, can you fill me in now?
Man, I love that short. You guys got to go to the site. The full short is there. It's a little over 20 minutes. You can watch the full short. Oh, you're muted, Don.
Sorry about that. I think I was having like an echo problem earlier, and I didn't mute myself. So, yeah, that must have cost some bucks, man.
Yeah, that was, we did a Kickstarter campaign, and we funded on Kickstarter, and we raised some other capital on Indiegogo, but we still came way out of pocket.
Yeah.
to do that. But that's with people doing us just amazing solids. I mean, we got so many of the locales either on the super cheap or on the free. The actors, I couldn't afford to pay Robin. Robin's, he's a buddy of mine. I actually met him back in the day. We used to go to the same gym.
Oh, nice.
And Angela was somebody that I literally just pinged her, because she was a WWE diva, and she did some other wrestling. So
Right.
I pinged her through one of her accounts, and she told me it was almost like a dormant account. Like she hadn't checked it in like a long time, and she just happened to check it, and my message was there at the top. So
Yeah. Wow.
it's kind of blessed. It just kind of worked out.
So, folks, you can see actually the full 20-minute pilot episode if you go on YouTube and you go to John's channel. So if you really like that trailer, which I did, I'm gonna have to sit down and watch that. It looks better than a lot of the CW shows, Good job, buddy. That's impressive. So were you on location on the set when they were filming?
Yeah, so we basically we filmed all that in 1 week. So, you know, took the week off of work. My wife was amazing because she basically was like the craft services.
Okay.
So like, I mean, there are people that were like professionals. They were just like, you know what? I've never eaten this well on a set before. You know?
So was it in, did you film it in California?
We did.
Okay.
We filmed it all in Southern California, some in the San Gabriel Valley and a little bit in LA County.
Now, how did you formulate your production team? And did you must have known guys from like film?
Yeah, so my buddy Patricio Janelsa, he and I went to USC together, and he was in USC's film school. So he's done a number of things. He recently released another independent film called Lumpia 2. He did the first one while we were in college, and he's just an amazing independent filmmaker. And he was already working on another project, and I told him I'd actually made an attempt with some other folks that I'd met at Comic-Con to make a Black Tiger short before, but I never, like, it all kind of fell apart. So we actually shot it over the course of a weekend, but I never got the footage. And my buddy, who I've known for so long, he's just like, dude, he's like, I'm kind of offended that, you know, you did this and you didn't even talk to me. I'm like, yeah, because, you know, you're filming like real things. You know, I mean, you really do this. He's like, dude, he's like, come on. And he's like, I love Black Tiger. So then we were off to the races. You know, we put up a Kickstarter campaign, and we got the different actors committed. And I said, okay, I guess we're doing this. And
wow.
and away it went. So that's the good thing about having good people around you, because even when you doubt doing it, they're like, hey, come on, let's do this. You know, so that is a big I'll always look back on that with fondness, because I think I was foolish enough not to know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
You know, because it was I mean, I knew it was going to be a big undertaking, but it was much bigger than I thought. But you know what? We were really blessed. I mean, things couldn't have worked out better.
Well, it shows. I mean, it looks like it's very, very high quality. What is your hope with the pilot? Do you want to try to see if someone will pick it up as a series, or will you be doing like is your idea to do your own crowdfunded, you know, full length ongoing series? Because I've had Herrenberg on before, and they kind of do like their own episodes, and people subscribe and pay to watch, you know, the new episodes. Is that what you kind of plan for Black Tiger, or do you have something else in mind?
You know, it's interesting. I've kind of taken a step back, because ultimately I realized that it's a property that I would rather retain production control of, and just, you know, because just quite candidly, I'm just not that happy with the directions that a lot of these shows are going in, and I don't want my property going in those directions. So, you know, the only other alternative then is to do it yourself. So, you know, so part of what I'm thinking may occur over time is, you know, you're building your fan base. We're all kind of building our respective fan bases. I think maybe there'll be a critical mass where there'll be opportunities for us all to do things that are, you know, comics and more.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm hanging my hat right now. You know, I like I said, I mean, I wouldn't want, you know, something that's not supposed to happen to the story happen to the story.
Well, that's so cool, man. I'm just really glad we could show people your trailer, because that's not something that a lot of people have the wherewithal to do. I mean, that's, other than I think U.S. Assassin, he just kind of had a wrestler guy kind of give a promo for his latest book with Mark Colton. Yours is definitely probably the best looking you know, crowdfunded trailer I've seen. John, I know you probably have to get going to work soon. Did you want to say anything else in closing? Maybe how people can get a hold of you, or what you sign up for Black Tiger, obviously.
Yeah, so please sign up for Black Tiger. the mailing list. If you haven't backed MAGNA, check out the campaign. I think it's a very fun campaign. There's a lot of elements to it, and I think you'll enjoy kind of how I tie all these different myths together. You know, I don't want to kind of give away too much of it, but I use some fun ways to tie it together for those of you that are, you know, kind of know anything about Genesis 6 or some of the non-canonical books like the Book of Enoch. Use some of those elements to kind of tie all this together in a fun way. And then you can reach me at Beyond Time Inc., Beyond Time INC on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram.
Awesome, bro. Well, I wish you the best, my friend. I'm sure we'll have you on again. Folks, definitely go out and either back MAGNA or sign up for Black Tiger. You're very talented, John. It's a pleasure to have you. I wish you the best. And
appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, you take care, buddy. All right.
All right, you too. Thanks, everybody.
All right, bye-bye. That's John Hervey. What a talented dude. He's got a lot of irons in the fire, obviously. Definitely worth supporting. Just has a really good vibe to him. So I'm just going to finish up, guys, with a little Beardzerker news. I'm going to play you the trailer, and then I'm going to show you some really cool artwork for one of the variant covers that we have coming into the works. And then we'll wrap the show up. You know, not a whole lot more to say. I want to try to keep it around an hour. And everybody in the chat, I really want to thank you for coming. Eric, congratulations on being our X-FARCE number 100 subscriber and getting a cool bonus copy of the first book. We've got Past Master Dan. Hey, I didn't want to talk too much about your yellow eyes. I'm sorry, it wasn't very appetizing. I'm not sure what was going on there. It was some kind of health concern, but I do hope that you're feeling good, my friend. Wise Guys, thank you for being here, but I hope you're feeling better too. Wise had a little bit of a cold this week. So we're in pre-launch for Beardzerker. So the easy address to go to for Beardzerker is simply beardzerker.com, or you can click the link in the chat and go to our Beardzerker pre-launch page. We are getting this book ready to launch. We're hoping, I'm hoping sometime this month that we'll actually go live with Beardzerker. And for those of you who already backed X-FARCE, thank you so much. That book is getting ready to go to press. But let me go ahead and share the Beardzerker launch page, and I'll play you guys the trailer. And after that, I'll show you some cool artwork. So here we go, guys.
Comics are totally awesome, and I'm totally awesome too. Beardzerker has everything you want from a comic book. It's got great drawings, colors, great story. It's got great action, has a little romance, and it's about something. Not just any something. It's a parody of something. And I was like, well, I used to collect, and I love comic books. And they were like, so, did you ever want to make a comic book? And I was like, yeah. And then Parody Press was like, oh, yeah. So they made a comic book that's a parody of my comic book. And it will probably be pretty hilarious, because that's what a parody is. Or at least what it's supposed to be. You know, this idea of kind of like a rock and roll warrior someone in an altered state, someone with a big guitar axe, and a pet cat from the hood, just out of control. Speaking of out of control, there's his beard. It gets bigger and longer throughout the book until it takes on a fantastical life of its own. It's like, whoa. So check it out. If you do, I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. But honestly, I didn't really do that much, other than rambling on about comics and books. I mean, comic books. Wait, what was I saying? Oh well. Enjoy. Beardzerker from Parody Press. Back it today.
We go ahead and unmute that. Yeah, so guys, that's our cool Beardzerker trailer. We're gonna launch this book. Like I said, our plans are to launch it this month. And I wanted to show you some artwork from the variant covers that we have here. So let me stop sharing the video screen, and I'll load up a cool email that I just got this week. So let me load that up for you. It's in a little Gmail from our letter, Keith Gleason. So hopefully that's sharing right now. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so far we have at least 4 variant covers coming on Beardzerker. The first one is by Kanan White, which probably you have seen on the launch page. It's really awesome. It's got Beardzerker fighting a bunch of killer murder hornets, and it's colored by Matt Yackey. And so that's the main cover, is by Kanan. And then we have a second one, which is kind of more of a movie poster style cover by Thad Rhodes, who did the New Mutants in the X-FARCE book. And then one that I was able to negotiate, we got with the blessing of Billy Tucci, is there's going to be a she cover. So let me make it a little bit bigger here for you guys. So right now I'm going to scroll down and you can see the she variant. And this is by Bill Mouse. Bill is the artist on the inside of the book. And right now we're at 32 pages, full color. It's going to be colored by his daughter, Cat Mouse. And he's working on the first pages. I wrote the script. Actually, I wrote the script like back last fall when Keanu was announcing the actual Beardzerker book that he just came out with. And so I had the story, and then Bill had some other commitments. So he's done with those commitments, and he's working on Beardzerker right now. So this is the she cover, and it's got her and Cat Stevens, which is this little character here, Beardzerker at the top, and they're fighting a bunch of ninjas and bad German agents. We've got kind of like a Batman parody there, and a couple Ninja Turtles in there. So we're going to have a contest with what word balloon caption are we going to put on this book when it actually goes to press. And so when the campaign actually starts, we're going to let people vote on which caption they like the best. So the first caption is what you see here, is one of the characters in the dog pile says, "What is she doing here?" So that's option 1. And then option 2, it's the same cover, but we have, instead of "what is she doing here," we have this character here over here in the corner, one of the ninjas, he's getting kicked in the head saying, "Holy she." So I don't know which ones you guys like better, but yeah, so Billy is awesome. I really thank him for him and his wife, Deborah, for allowing us to license she on the cover. So we're really excited, and he approved all the artwork, and so we're very, very excited to have this on here. We've got Donatello and Raphael are in this mix somehow. Yeah, so that's the kind of the big news today, is just to kind of give you guys a preview of what the she Beardzerker cover is going to be. We still have to put the logo on it and stuff. It needs all the the typical cover dressing, but this one is by Bill, colored by Matt Yackey as well. Matt does a lot of great work. I think he works with Dan Fraga, Rob Liefeld, etc. Is it the foot or hand ninjas? That's a good question. The hand was like, wasn't that like the Marvel ninjas, and then the Foot Clan was the Ninja Turtles ninjas? Wise Guy says both captions are pretty good. Thank you, Wise. Both work. It's tough. Yeah, we'll have to see. It might be down to the wire. Yeah, Matt Yackey's awesome. So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much the show for today. I wanted to just thank you for tuning in. I'll be back again hopefully next week, next Wednesday morning with another show. And Eric says the toe ninjas. That's pretty funny. I like that. I might have to steal that from you, Eric. Ninjas are pesky regardless. The Tick, yeah, I love the Tick. It's one of my favorite cartoons and comic books from the 90s. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your week. We will see you again soon, I hope. And we're gonna go ahead and escort you guys out of here. I'll probably just play, let's see what we have here. Fun. That's a fun thing to tune us out with. I think you guys deserve a little I already did the slap chop rap. We're gonna do a little sham wow to see us out here. All right. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
I can't live without it. I just love it. Oh my gosh,
It's bits with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel. It's like a chamois, it's like a towel. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house. Damn wild if you say wow, you 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 damn wild if you say wow, you. Towel doesn't work well. This works wet, won't you rock? Look at this. It just goes to work when you want to work twice as hard. Doesn't drip, doesn't make a mess, bring it out. Doesn't drip, doesn't make a mess, bring it out. Doesn't drip, doesn't drip, doesn't drip, doesn't drip, doesn't drip, bring it out. Only thing I use, they use it as a towel, yeah, completely dry. Divide it in half, use one as a back mat. Put it in a white sweater, roll it up, it waxes sweaters. Damn wild if you say wow, damn wild if you say wow, damn wild if you say wow, damn wild if you say wow. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. Here's some cola, wine, coffee, cola. Head stain, not always a damage, gonna be a pop. There's your milk, that's gonna smell to ya. I wanna do this in real time. Look at this, put on a spill, turn it over without even putting any pressure. The color starts to come up. No one in the towel's gonna do that. It acts like a vacuum, and look, there's a freaking line at the bottom. See what I'm telling you? Damn wild if you say wow, 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 damn wild if you say wow. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house, the boat, the arm. This is for the house, the boat, the arm.